Did you know that the way we eat after the age of 60 can directly affect our memory, our energy levels, and even our risk of falling? In fact, studies show that something as simple as not getting enough protein can increase the chances of muscle weakness and loss of independence. Now, if you or someone you love has noticed changes in appetite, trouble keeping weight steady, or just less joy in mealtime, you're definitely not alone. Many older adults face the same struggles every single day. But here's the good news. With the right approach to eating, it's possible to feel stronger, more energetic, and more confident without complicated diets or expensive supplements. In this video, we're going to explore simple, science-backed eating habits that can make a real difference in healthy aging. And I'll share 3 practical tips you can start using today. Welcome to the channel. I'm Emily Carter, and here we focus on sharing clear, science-backed health information that's easy to understand and apply in everyday life. Everything you hear today is based on updated research and trusted medical sources, so you can feel confident that the advice is reliable. Now, why should you stick around? Because in today's video, we're going to uncover the eating habits that can help older adults feel stronger, stay more independent, and even enjoy food again. And toward the end, I'll give you 3 very practical tips you can start applying immediately. So, if you've ever wondered why appetite often changes with age, why meals sometimes feel less satisfying, or what small tweaks can make the biggest difference, you're in the right place. By the end of this video, you'll have a clearer understanding of how nutrition connects with healthy aging, and you'll leave with realistic steps you can put into action today. Before we dive in, let me ask you a quick favor. If you find this kind of content helpful, please hit the like button, subscribe, and share this video with someone who might benefit. That way you'll also help us grow this community and keep bringing you more useful content. And of course, I'd love for you to stay until the very end, because I'll be answering some of the most common questions people have about nutrition in later life, and I don't want you to miss that. Alright, let's get started and talk about why eating habits matter so much for older adults. As we grow older, our bodies change in ways that directly affect how we eat, how we process food, and how our bodies use nutrients. It's not just about appetite, it's about biology. After the age of 60, the body naturally loses some muscle mass each year, a process called sarcopenia. That means protein becomes even more important than ever before, because without enough of it, muscles weaken faster, leading to more fatigue and a higher risk of falls. But protein is only part of the story. Digestion slows down with age, meaning the stomach empties more slowly. That can leave many older adults feeling full sooner and eating less than they really need. Taste buds also become less sensitive, which can make meals less enjoyable. And on top of that, some medications reduce appetite or change how food tastes, making it even harder to get the nutrients the body depends on. According to the National Institute on Aging, nearly 1 in 2 older adults in the United States does not get enough fiber, and more than 1/3 may not meet daily needs for key vitamins such as vitamin D and B12. These gaps don't just stay on paper, they show up in daily life as low energy, weaker immunity, and even mood changes. Think about it for a moment. Have you ever noticed how someone might start skipping breakfast because they don't feel hungry? Or how they rely only on tea and toast for dinner? It might seem harmless at first, but over time, that pattern can cause unintended weight loss, poor wound healing, and more frequent illnesses. And then there's hydration. Did you know that as people age, the natural sense of thirst decreases? By the time many older adults feel thirsty, they're already mildly dehydrated. Dehydration can cause dizziness, confusion, constipation, and even increase the risk of hospital visits. Something as simple as not drinking enough water can have a huge effect on independence and quality of life. The question is, why does this matter so much? Because eating isn't only about fueling the body, it's about preserving independence, supporting memory, boosting energy, and even protecting mental health. A poor diet can slowly chip away at those things without anyone noticing until it becomes serious. So, the big picture is this. Aging changes the body's nutritional needs, appetite signals, and even enjoyment of food. Left unchecked, these changes can lead to malnutrition, weakness, and a decline in quality of life. But with awareness, And with some simple adjustments, it's possible to stay well-nourished and enjoy meals again. In the next section, we're going to break this down step by step, starting with what healthy eating really means for older adults today. So, what exactly does healthy eating mean when we're talking about older adults? It's not about following a complicated diet plan or counting every calorie. Instead, it's about focusing on nutrient-dense foods meals that give the most nutrition in every bite while keeping portions balanced and manageable. Let's start with the basics. A healthy plate for an older adult usually includes 3 main components: protein, fiber, and hydration. Protein supports muscle strength. Fiber keeps digestion regular and lowers the risk of heart disease. And hydration ensures the body can function smoothly. Add in vitamins and minerals, like vitamin D for bone health, vitamin B12 for the nervous system, and calcium for strong bones, and you've got the foundation for healthy aging. A good way to visualize this is through what nutritionists call the colorful plate. Imagine a plate filled with colorful vegetables like spinach, carrots, and red peppers, a source of protein such as chicken, fish, beans, or tofu, and a serving of whole grains like brown rice or oatmeal. Add a drizzle of healthy fat like olive oil or avocado, and a glass of water or herbal tea. It doesn't need to be fancy, but it should cover those essential building blocks. Another important part of healthy eating in later life is portion size. As metabolism slows, the body may need fewer calories overall, but that doesn't mean it needs fewer nutrients. In fact, nutrient needs like protein, fiber, and vitamins often go up. That's why smaller, more frequent meals can work so well. They prevent overwhelming fullness while still delivering the nutrients the body needs. For example, instead of 3 heavy meals a day, many older adults feel better with 5 or 6 smaller meals or snacks. Mid-morning snack of Greek yogurt with berries, a small bowl of vegetable soup in the afternoon, or a handful of nuts with a piece of fruit can make a big difference in maintaining steady energy. Now, you might be wondering, does healthy eating mean avoiding all treats or cutting out favorite foods? Not necessarily. Enjoyment is part of health too. The key is moderation. A slice of pie at a family gathering or a favorite comfort food once in a while doesn't undo healthy habits. What matters most is the daily pattern, choosing nutrient-rich foods most of the time. So when we say healthy eating habits for older adults, we're really talking about meals that are balanced, colorful, rich in protein, high in fiber, and mindful of hydration, served in portions that match the body's needs today. Coming up next, we'll look at the most common reasons why older adults struggle to maintain these habits. Because understanding the challenges is the first step toward creating solutions. Now that we know what healthy eating looks like, let's talk about why so many older adults struggle to maintain those habits. The truth is, there are several common causes, and most of them have nothing to do with willpower. They're real, everyday challenges that can affect anyone as they age. One of the biggest reasons is a natural decline in appetite. As we get older, our bodies produce fewer hunger hormones and digestion slows down. That means meals don't feel as appealing, and fullness lasts longer, even after smaller portions. Combine that with a reduced sense of taste and smell, and food may simply not be as enjoyable as it once was. Imagine sitting down to a plate of food that feels bland or uninviting. It's easy to see why someone might eat less than they need. Dental health also plays a major role. Missing teeth, poorly fitting dentures, or gum problems can make chewing difficult or even painful. Crunchy vegetables, nuts, and meats foods packed with nutrients may suddenly become uncomfortable to eat. As a result, some people switch to softer, less nutritious options like white bread, mashed potatoes, or sugary puddings. While those are easier to chew, they don't provide the same vitamins, protein, or fiber. Medications are another big factor. Many older adults take daily prescriptions for blood pressure, diabetes, or other chronic conditions. These medicines can reduce appetite, cause dry mouth, or even alter the taste of food, making it harder to enjoy meals. For example, some blood pressure medications can leave a metallic taste, while others cause nausea or digestive upset. Over time, these side effects can quietly reduce overall food intake. Mobility and access also matter. If walking to the grocery store feels exhausting, or if carrying bags is painful, it becomes much harder to shop regularly for fresh foods. Cooking may also be challenging if arthritis makes chopping or stirring painful. In some cases, the simple act of preparing a meal can feel overwhelming, leading to skipped meals or reliance on processed convenience foods. And we can't forget about social and emotional factors. Eating is often a social activity. When someone lives alone or has lost a partner, mealtime can feel lonely or unnecessary. This emotional barrier can be just as powerful as physical limitations. Some older adults admit, "Why cook a full meal if it's only for me?" That thought alone can lead to skipping meals or relying on quick, less nutritious snacks. So, when we look at the big picture, the causes of poor eating habits in older adults are often complex. Changes in appetite, dental challenges, medication side effects, mobility limitations, and even loneliness. Each of these issues chips away at healthy eating little by little. Understanding these causes is crucial because once we know what's getting in the way, we can begin to create realistic, compassionate solutions. In the next section, we'll explore the warning signs, what to look for when these eating challenges start to impact health in a serious way. So far, we've looked at what healthy eating means and why it can be so difficult to maintain as we age. Now, let's focus on the warning signs, the red flags that tell us nutrition might not be meeting the body's needs. Spotting these symptoms early can make a huge difference in preventing bigger health problems down the road. One of the most obvious signs is unintended weight loss. If clothing suddenly feels looser, belts need new notches, or friends notice someone looking thinner without trying, that's a signal worth paying attention to. For older adults, losing even a small amount of weight too quickly can mean muscle loss, not just fat. And when muscle strength declines, the risk of falls and injuries goes up. Another key warning sign is constant fatigue or low energy. We all have tired days, of course. But if fatigue becomes the norm, like struggling to get out of bed, skipping favorite activities, or needing frequent naps, it may be a sign that the body isn't getting enough calories, protein, or key vitamins. Malnutrition often shows up as a slow, steady drain on energy. Frequent infections or slow wound healing are also red flags. Nutrition is closely tied to immune function. Without enough vitamins, minerals, and protein, the body has a harder time fighting off colds, recovering from the flu, or healing even small cuts and bruises. If you notice infections happening more often, or a simple scrape taking weeks to improve, poor nutrition might be part of the story. Changes in mood or memory can also be linked to diet. A lack of vitamin B12, for example, can cause confusion, irritability, or forgetfulness. Dehydration alone can cause dizziness, headaches, and trouble concentrating. If someone who's usually sharp and upbeat becomes more withdrawn or forgetful, it could be a nutritional issue worth checking. Other physical signs include brittle hair, dry skin, or fragile nails. While these can have many causes, there's sometimes clues that the body isn't getting the building blocks it needs to maintain healthy tissues. Similarly, swelling in the ankles or changes in bowel habits, like chronic constipation, can also be tied to dietary imbalances or lack of hydration. It's important to remember that no single symptom automatically means malnutrition. But when several of these signs show up together, weight loss, fatigue, frequent illness, mood changes, it's time to pay attention. These are the body's way of saying, "I'm not getting what I need." So, here's the takeaway. If you or a loved one starts showing these warning signs, don't ignore them. Instead, see them as a call to action to look more closely at eating habits and overall health. In the next part, we'll talk about how healthcare professionals usually evaluate nutrition in older adults, what kinds of tests or conversations to expect, and how they help build a clearer picture of what's really going on. When warning signs start to show, the next important step is proper evaluation. But how do healthcare professionals actually diagnose or assess nutrition problems in older adults? It usually begins with something very simple, a conversation. Doctors or dietitians often start by asking about recent eating patterns, what a typical day of meals looks like, how often snacks are included, and whether there have been any changes in appetite. Sometimes they'll ask a caregiver or family member to share their observations too, since loved ones may notice changes that the individual doesn't recognize. Weight history is another key piece. Providers often compare a person's current weight to what it was 6 months or a year ago. A loss of more than 5% of body weight in a short time without trying is considered a red flag for possible malnutrition. Tracking weight trends over time helps highlight subtle issues before they become severe. In addition to weight, healthcare providers may perform a physical exam, looking for visible signs like muscle loss, swelling in the ankles, or changes in skin and hair quality. They may also check grip strength, since weaker hand muscles can be a clue that protein intake isn't meeting the body's needs. Blood tests are another valuable tool. For example, vitamin D and calcium levels are often measured to assess bone health, while vitamin B12 is checked for its critical role in nerve and brain function. Albumin and prealbumin levels can give an idea of protein status, though they're influenced by other factors too. Iron levels might also be tested if there are signs of anemia, such as fatigue or pale skin. Beyond labs, providers may use standardized questionnaire, like the Mini Nutritional Assessment (MNA). This quick tool asks about appetite, recent weight loss, mobility, and psychological stress. It helps identify whether someone is well-nourished, at risk, or already malnourished. It's important to emphasize here, none of these steps are meant to label or criticize. They're simply ways of gathering information to better understand what's happening in the body. Sometimes the problem is as straightforward as a lack of protein in the diet. Other times, it's more complex, like a combination of medication side effects, dental issues, and low appetite. The evaluation helps providers tailor recommendations to the individual. For families, knowing what to expect in this process can make it less intimidating. If you notice concerning signs in a loved one, encouraging them to bring it up with their healthcare provider is a powerful first step. Having details ready, like a food diary or notes about recent changes, can make the appointment even more useful. So, diagnosis isn't just about lab results or numbers on a scale. It's about building a full picture, daily eating habits, physical changes, medical history, and lab markers all working together to guide next steps. In our next section, we'll dive into what those steps usually look like, the general strategies that can help manage nutrition challenges and support healthier eating as we age. Once nutrition problems are identified, the next step is creating a plan to manage them. Now, this doesn't mean prescribing a strict diet or a one-size-fits-all program. Every older adult is unique. Instead, the focus is on practical strategies that can improve nutrition, strengthen the body, and make eating more enjoyable again. One of the most common approaches is adjusting the overall diet to include more nutrient-dense foods. For example, instead of large, heavy meals, providers often recommend smaller, more frequent meals packed with protein and fiber. A breakfast of scrambled eggs with spinach, a mid-morning snack of yogurt with fruit, and an afternoon bowl of vegetable soup can deliver steady nutrition without overwhelming the stomach. Sometimes, texture modification is key. If chewing is difficult, foods can be softened or blended. Steamed vegetables, smoothies, and soups are excellent ways to deliver vitamins and minerals without requiring lots of chewing. For those with dental issues, this small change can open the door to enjoying healthier options again. In certain cases, supplements may be suggested, but only when truly needed and guided by a healthcare provider. Common examples include vitamin D, vitamin B12, or calcium. Since deficiencies in these nutrients are more common in older adults, protein powders or fortified drinks can also be useful if appetite is very low. But they should be used to complement, not replace, balanced meals. Support services are another important part of management. Some communities offer meal delivery programs such as Meals on Wheels or group dining options at senior centers. These services not only provide balanced meals, but also address the social side of eating, which can boost appetite and overall enjoyment. For those with mobility challenges, grocery delivery or online shopping can make fresh food more accessible. Healthcare professionals may also recommend working with a dietitian or occupational therapist. A dietitian can create tailored meal plans, while an occupational therapist can suggest adaptive utensils or kitchen tools that make cooking and eating easier for people with arthritis or limited hand strength. Hydration strategies are also emphasized. Carrying a water bottle, sipping broth, or herbal tea, and eating water-rich foods like cucumbers or melons can help prevent dehydration. Even mild dehydration can have serious effects, so this often becomes a top priority. Emotional support shouldn't be overlooked. Eating with family, joining community meals, or simply setting the table in an inviting way can transform the experience of eating from a chore into a pleasant ritual. Sometimes the environment around the meal is just as important as the food itself. So, management is really about meeting people where they are, adjusting food textures, using supplements when appropriate, taking advantage of community resources, and creating an enjoyable environment around meals. These strategies, when combined, can significantly improve both nutrition and quality of life. In the next section, we'll shift from general management into specific, practical tips. These are habits you can start applying right away to support better nutrition and healthier aging. Now that we've talked about overall management, let's move into some practical tips you can start applying right away. These are simple strategies that make a big difference in supporting healthy eating habits for older adults, and many of them are easy to implement at home. First, focus on balance in every meal. A good rule of thumb is to fill half the plate with colorful fruits and vegetables, a quarter with proteins such as chicken, beans, or fish, and the remaining quarter with whole grains like brown rice or oatmeal. This balance ensures steady energy and covers most essential nutrients. Second, make protein a priority. As we age, our muscles naturally lose mass, a process called sarcopenia. To slow this down, older adults should aim to include some form of protein in every meal and snack. Examples include eggs at breakfast, hummus with vegetables as a snack, or salmon at dinner. Even dairy products like Greek yogurt or cottage cheese can provide a boost. Third, stay hydrated creatively. Plain water is excellent, but it doesn't have to be the only option. Herbal teas, flavored water with slices of lemon or cucumber, or even soups and broths all count toward hydration. Setting a reminder to sip throughout the day can prevent fatigue, confusion, and even falls that may result from dehydration. Fourth, plan meals ahead of time. Older adults who prepare meals in advance or who have a family member help with meal prepping are more likely to eat balanced diets and less likely to skip meals out of convenience. Keeping healthy snacks like cut fruit, boiled eggs, or whole grain crackers easily accessible can also encourage better choices. Fifth, create a positive eating environment. Turning off the television, setting the table nicely, and even playing soft background music can make mealtimes more enjoyable. And whenever possible, eat with others. Social interaction can stimulate appetite and make meals feel less like a task and more like a moment to connect. Sixth, pay attention to portion sizes. Large meals can feel overwhelming, especially for those with smaller appetites. Instead, try smaller, nutrient-dense portions spread throughout the day. A smoothie mid-morning or a handful of nuts in the afternoon can prevent fatigue and support stable energy levels. Seventh, consider safe convenience foods. Frozen vegetables, pre-washed salads, or canned beans can make healthy eating faster and less stressful, while still providing good nutrition. The key is choosing low-sodium and low-sugar versions whenever possible. Finally, keep regular check-ins with a healthcare provider. Even if everything seems fine, nutritional needs can change quickly with age, especially if medications or health conditions are involved. Routine blood work and discussions about diet can help catch deficiencies early. So, to recap, balance your plate, prioritize protein, stay hydrated, plan ahead. Create a positive environment, control portions, use healthy convenience options, and keep in touch with professionals. These small habits, practiced consistently, can have a huge impact on long-term health and independence. Next, we'll add even more value by looking at some common myths and frequently asked questions about nutrition in older age. Before we wrap up, let us clear up some common myths and also answer a few frequently asked questions about nutrition in older age. These are things people often search online or hear from friends, and it is important to separate fact from fiction. The first myth is that older adults do not need as much protein because they are less active. In reality, the opposite is often true. Because muscle naturally declines with age, protein actually becomes more important, even for people who are not very active. Small, regular portions of protein throughout the day help preserve strength and mobility. The second myth is that if someone is not hungry, skipping meals is fine. Appetite often decreases with age, but skipping meals can lead to weakness, dizziness, and nutrient deficiencies. Even a light snack like yogurt with fruit or a small bowl of soup is better than missing meals entirely. Nourishment does not always have to mean a large plate of food. It can be small and still meaningful. The third myth is that taking a daily multivitamin is enough to cover nutrition. While supplements can help fill gaps, they do not replace whole foods. Real foods provide fiber, antioxidants, and other compounds that pills simply cannot match. Supplements should only complement a healthy diet, not substitute for it. Now, let us look at a few frequently asked questions. The first question is, do older adults really need fewer calories? Yes, in most cases, metabolism slows with age, and physical activity levels may decline, which means the body usually requires fewer calories. But the key is that even though calorie needs may drop, nutrient needs stay the same or even increase. That is why it is important to focus on nutrient-dense foods instead of empty calories. The second question is, what about dairy? Should older adults avoid it? Unless someone is lactose intolerant or has a medical reason to avoid dairy, it can actually be very beneficial. Dairy provides calcium, vitamin D, and protein, all of which support bone health. Low-fat or lactose-free options are available for those who need them. The third question is it too late to change eating habits later in life? Absolutely not. Research shows that making positive changes at any age can improve energy, mood, and overall health. Whether someone is 60, 70, or even 90, adding more fruits, vegetables, and balanced meals can still make a measurable difference. The fourth question is, how do medications affect nutrition? Many older adults take multiple medications, and some of these can change appetite, affect taste, or interfere with nutrient absorption. That is why regular check-ins with a healthcare provider are so important. They can monitor these interactions and suggest adjustments. By busting these myths and answering these common questions, the hope is to empower older adults and their families with the confidence to make better food choices. Remember that it is never too late to start improving nutrition, and even small changes can bring noticeable benefits. Now, it is time to wrap up and review the main points we covered today about healthy eating habits for older adults. First, we talked about what healthy eating really means in later life. It is not about complicated diets or cutting out all favorite foods. It is about nutrient-dense meals, balance, protein, fiber, hydration, and including essential vitamins and minerals in every plate. Small, frequent meals that are colorful and well-balanced can make a huge difference in energy levels and overall health. Second, we discussed the most common challenges that can make eating well difficult. These include reduced appetite, dental problems, medication side effects, mobility or access limitations, and social or emotional factors like eating alone. Recognizing these challenges is the first step toward finding realistic solutions that work for each individual. Third, we explored practical strategies to support better nutrition. Adjusting meal size and frequency, making protein a priority, staying hydrated, planning meals ahead, creating a positive environment for eating, using healthy convenience options, and staying in regular contact with healthcare providers are all simple habits that can improve both nutrition and quality of life. We also busted myths and answered common questions, showing that even small changes can have a meaningful impact at any age. By keeping these 3 points in mind, you can take control of nutrition in a way that supports strength, independence, and overall well-being. Remember that aging does not mean giving up on good food or enjoying meals. It is about making choices that nourish the body and make life easier and more enjoyable. As we close, think back to the promise we made at the beginning. By applying these habits and strategies, you can help yourself or a loved one feel stronger, have more energy, and maintain independence longer. The information shared in this video is based on updated science-backed research and trusted medical sources. It is educational only and does not replace professional medical advice. Always consult a healthcare provider for personal guidance. In our next and final section, we will thank you for staying until the end, encourage you to engage with the channel, and provide important reminders about sharing feedback, subscribing, and watching more videos. This is your opportunity to take what you have learned and put it into action. and also to join a community focused on practical, reliable health information. Thank you so much for watching until the very end. I really appreciate your time and attention. If you found this video helpful, please consider giving it a like and subscribing to the channel so you can continue receiving clear, science-backed health information that is easy to understand and apply in everyday life. Leave a comment below sharing your thoughts or questions. I will highlight the best suggestions and comments in future videos, so this is a great chance to be recognized and to help shape the content. Share your ideas for new topics, suggestions for improving the channel, or any questions you have about healthy eating and wellness. Remember, all the information shared in this video is based on updated research and trusted medical sources. It is educational only and does not replace professional medical advice. Always consult your healthcare provider for guidance tailored to your individual needs. I also encourage you to share this video with a friend, family member, or anyone who could benefit from learning about healthy eating habits for older adults. By doing this, you help spread reliable, practical information that can make a real difference in someone's life. Finally, check out other videos on the channel for more tips on nutrition, healthy living, and wellness strategies that are easy to follow and backed by science. Engaging with these videos is a simple way to stay informed and take steps toward better health every day. Thank you again for being part of this community. I look forward to reading your comments, seeing you subscribe, helping you apply these practical tips to your life or the life of someone you care about. Stay healthy, stay informed, and remember that even small changes in your eating habits can lead to meaningful improvements in energy, strength, and overall well-being.